Good morning, everyone. What a crazy game of fantasy last night. Pretty much every fantasy relevant player, and there was a lot. They all scored well, apart from Reece Walsh, I guess. But yeah, everyone else pumped out their season average or above. Just pretty crazy game. Like for such a low scoring game, a lot of chaos with injuries, stuff like that. Yeah, like obviously both starting halves went out with a hamstring injury in the same play. Just never seen that before. Like crazy, crazy stuff. But yeah, it was a really fun game to watch. I think the more players you had in that one, the better. I had three myself, but as you can see, I've got the captaincy on Payne Haas, which is awesome. I don't really talk about captaincy too much. I always forget when I'm doing like my trade videos. I was pretty set on Cleary. It was probably like 70% Cleary, 25% Haas, 5% Carrigan. I was sort of thinking as like a pod option. I was talking to Casual Baller last night. We were just discussing our teams, and like we were both saying it was a pretty rough week for us. I think he's fairly low on trades, same as me, and yeah, we just got a few injuries and stuff like that this week. And he was talking about Haas captaincy, just like saying it was dry weather last night, and all the other games are wet weather and stuff like that. And he was like, yeah, I'll go Payne Haas. And I was like, yeah, fuck it. If you go Haas, I'll go Haas as well. So shout out Casual Baller for that one. Yeah, sorted me out with the goods with an 81 for Payne Haas. My thinking was, like, I knew Cleary was the better option for sure, and I don't really like to do pod captains too much. I did, like, dabble in it at the start of the season. It worked out terribly. But with my team so weak this week, yeah, like, I'm not in a position of strength. I don't have any loop options. I've got 17 barely. Like, I'm hoping Galvin plays. Humphreys, I think he'll play now. Like, he should be sweet. But yeah, it's not a great 17 regardless. I don't have any trades I can make to boost my team this week, and there's only 5 weeks to go. So I'm pretty set in stone, going to lose ranks this week. And my only real push to try overcome that a little bit was to go for a little bit of a pod captaincy with high upside. So yeah, Payne Haas fit the bill. It's always scary on a Thursday night because it sort of ruins your weekend if they score badly. But yeah, it worked out well in this one. I mean, Cleary can obviously pump out more than an 81 on any given day. But for now, you'll absolutely take an 81 from your captain. So yeah, really good stuff. Shout out Casual Baller for the hookups there. And yeah, really happy with that. Eli Katoa updated well. He was on 53, got out to a 58, which is good. I can't believe he didn't get the turnover. Like, Payne Haas offloaded it, which was intercepted by Katoa. I think it might have bounced. I can't remember. But yeah, like, Payne Haas gets the error and Katoa doesn't get the turnover. It's just weird. Like, I don't know how they make the assessments on that one. I don't know if that's consistent with what they do. But yeah, I fully expected him to get one. Carrigan played 80 in the end, just with all the injuries for the Broncos, and he only got a 55. But like, a 55 is fine. Like, it's his season average, but you'd probably expect a little bit more. But yeah, like, against the Storm, you'll take it for sure. Yeah, if he's hitting his season average, I'll take that. If I knew he was going to get a 55, regardless of his minutes, I would have brought him in. So no concerns there. Glad I didn't go for the ultra pod captaincy in him. But yeah, it was a really good night for me overall. I was 374th coming into the round, and yeah, pushed out to 198th so far. Obviously, that means nothing. One game into the round, but I mean, it's cool to see my name in the top 200, I guess, even though it means absolutely nothing. But yeah, it's a really strong start to the round. Everyone else did really well. So, like, yeah, I'll get into it in a sec, but all the popular guys scored really well. So I'm not like that far ahead, but it's good that I've got 3 players on the board that all scored well, and my captain's out the way as well. So absolutely take that start. Hopefully it's a sign of the round to come, but yeah, I'm not in love with my team by any means this week. Galvin, Humphreys, Drinky, yeah, they've got to sort something out this week for me. The rest are, yeah, give or take, but we'll see. So I obviously locked in that Carrigan trade for Herbie, and then I do have the Kurt Donahue in for... Jerome Hughes for Carrigan, and then Herbie for Donahue. I'm pretty set that I'm going to take Donahue. It's between him and Isaiah Katoa, but I think I do like the upside of Donahue. The only thing that's concerning me a little bit is his potential to move anywhere in the back line, and yeah, just to cover injuries and stuff like that. But their forward pack is so weak, so I'd like to think they'll pivot. But we've seen that he moved to centre, he's moved to halves. He did do well in those positions anyway, so it's not like, I don't know, an Aitken who moves to centre and is significantly worse, even though he's actually been pretty good lately. But you know what I mean? Like, when you have like Jack Bird who moves positions, like it's terrible for them. But Donahue's his floor is a little bit higher, so I'm not too concerned by that. But given it's only a 5-week sample size, it is concerning if he moves 1 or 2 weeks out of those 5. But for now, I'm pretty happy with bringing him in. I do like his upside more than Katoa. I don't really care about the price, but I think I project them about the same, so I may as well go for the cheaper one with the dual. So pretty happy with that. Can't really see things changing. Latrell is confirmed to be playing, but we haven't heard where he's going to be playing, like if he's starting or on the bench. I would expect him to start, but yeah, we see so often that players who are rushed back come on the bench. So I want to see if he's goal kicking. I want to see if he's kicking in general play. I hope he's not doing either of those things as a Humphreys owner, but yeah, like I have to wait and see. And also, I didn't talk about it in the video yesterday, and I was meant to mention it, that buys at the back end of the season as well, like especially around 26, 27, when we're all thin on squad depth, like we'll have a few injuries that we're not going to be trading out for. Those buys are significantly worse than having a buy in round 23 when you know how many numbers you have on the board. Because, yeah, like your squad depth is going to be so thin. Even if you get to 17 players, you're probably playing your 20th, 21st man as well. So you don't want to be handicapped by having guys on buys. So given I have Humphreys, I can't really justify bringing in Latrell as well, just because I think it's around 26 buy for them. And that will mean I have only 19 players available max. And then I'll probably have injuries and stuff like that as well. So, yeah, probably we'll have to go without Latrell in the end based on that thinking. But I would like to bring him in. If I do bring him in, it probably will be for Humphreys because I have the money to do that. But I'm not going to do that for a healthy Humphreys. It's only in the event he gets injured or something like that, or I desperately need a winger fullback, and then I can work some things out. But yeah, I'm probably going without Latrell, but I do think he's an awesome option if you don't have any Rabbitohs in your team. Jumping over to Yaffs. And yeah, as you can see, if you owned the more players, the better in this one. Like that is just a crazy jump, especially the captaincy one. What's that? 1993, like plus 93 each one you go across, which is just crazy stuff. The par down here is a little bit lower for the average points, which is good. I think, what did I get? 275 for 3 players, including my captain. So technically I'm below par by 6 and above par here by 1. But in terms of the general landscape for that game, I think I'm slightly ahead just because, yeah, I'm behind for exactly having 3 players and my captain played, but I do have an 81 captain on the board. So I think I'm slightly above par in general for the round, which is good. We see it's already down to 3.1 trades left, and that's with only 32% trading Herbie so far. So yeah, I would expect that number to get down to at least 2.3, 2.4, I'd say, as the round progresses. Yeah, only 11.3% captain Payne Haas in the end. I was actually expecting Jaden Campbell's to be a little bit higher. People just going for who's done well the last couple of weeks, but people have been a little bit smarter than that. I mean, I don't think it's a bad captaincy option, but it is just riding the wave, I guess. But yeah, I did expect Haas to be about 20% as well. So I'll take that it was only 11.3% and Cleary 80%, which is pretty obvious that was going to happen. Only 90% of people have 17 green dots so far, but again, that will increase as the round goes on. So I'd expect that to get to 96, 97%. So yeah, everyone's fielding full team, you'd think. I think Carrigan and Munster were the 2 most popular so far, but obviously they're the only game that's played so far. So we'll see these guys jump through the roof. I'd expect Kurt Donahue to be maybe 15% picked up. Kai Pearce-Paul, I'm not expecting that high. I don't love him as an option, but people clearly do. I think it'll be good, but yeah, just concerned about a rest at the end of the season, or maybe he's a keeper, not a premium in my eyes, and there's better out there. Payne Haas a little bit picked up, and yeah, Harry Grant as well. But these numbers will increase throughout the round. It's interesting to see so many people jumping off Yo. I think it's confirmed it was a 2 to 3 week injury now, but I don't know if that includes this week, right? So if it includes this week, then he's back in 2 weeks maximum. So that's fine, like if he only misses one more game, but we'll see how that eventuates. I just think it's a luxury trade at this stage, especially if you're fielding 17 anyway. Just play your 18th, 19th, 20th man, whatever you have to do, as long as they're decent. Like my 20th man is Galvin or Humphreys, I guess, probably Humphreys now. And I'd be more than content playing him for 2 weeks and saving that trade to not miss out on Yo at the back end of the season. And he just, even if he doesn't come back the Yo we know, even if he averages 50, it's still not worth trading him out just because trades are such a premium at this stage. So yeah, I'd fully advise you to keep Yo unless we hear some more news that is out for a little bit longer. But yeah, that's about it from that side of things. Obviously, we've only had the one game so far, so we'll get a bit more action tonight. Yeah, just crazy game. Broncos weren't that bad. They just lost both their halves in the 21st minute, which is never going to bode well for you. They had Cobbo injured a little bit as well. He was limping off and ended up getting a hamstring injury towards the back end. So they just had no bench in the end. So I think it's actually respectable to keep the Storm to 22 points in that sort of game. Especially the second half was only 10-0, which is pretty decent for them. Storm haven't been that great. Like, you'd expect them to be a little bit better, but they're sort of in cruise control a little bit. I'm sure Bellamy's not too happy with it, but they are pretty much guaranteed to finish second. I don't think the Bulldogs are going to make too much noise. They're sort of falling off a cliff a little bit. And then the Raiders, obviously, a little bit far ahead. I think they're 2 games ahead, so I can't imagine they'll be caught. So, yeah, I wouldn't be too concerned if you're a Storm fan, but you'd probably like to see a bit better display over the next couple of weeks, I guess. Wishart was the one to dominate the scoring here. Just crazy stuff. He got a rest as well as Jonah Pezzett came on. Then he came back on and got like 3 crazy plays. I think he got like a try, save, turnover tackle and something else in the last 5 minutes or so. Just really good stuff. He split the kicking with Munster nearly 50-50, got a try save, line break, 33 tackles, just did a bit of everything. I think he was quite popular last week. It doesn't tell me on footy statistics, but I do remember seeing his name on Yaths last week as one of like the popular pickups in the top 1,000, I think. Yeah, it still says 0% owned, but that is just definitely not true. I think it's a week behind, so yeah, not sure what his ownership is. He wasn't picked up this week, but I think he was a little bit last week. So I was kind of hoping he'd do badly, but I don't think it's too significant. Like, I think it would be 5% max or something like that. And then probably like 50% of that actually played in this week. So yeah, it doesn't really matter too much how he does, but if you own him, well done to you. He's been awesome. I'm sure some people will jump on him next week. He'll probably be about, it doesn't even have their break even there. He'll probably be about 400k, I'd imagine. So it's still a nice price point if he's going to produce stuff like this. Like, the tackle count is solid as for a half. And then, yeah, the kick meter is a little bit better this week. Munster was quite not heavily picked up. He was, 2.5% I think we saw in the top 1,000 this week. That was probably off the back of him kicking for 520 metres last week. And when I saw that, I didn't talk about him in my video, but I looked at it last night just before the game. I was actually interested in bringing him in. But then I looked at the other games without Jerome Hughes over the last 2 years, and he's never kicked for more than 250, I think it was. And yeah, Wishart was the bulk kicker for most of those games. So it seemed like last week was an outlier. And yeah, I guess that came to fruition this week where they split the kicking, but he just did everything else. He was running the ball so much in Jerome Hughes' absence. Him and Harry Grant just going for a dart every set, which was crazy stuff. 6 tackle breaks. Missed tackles still there with 5, but 3 offloads is going to offset that for sure. But yeah, just really good game for him. I don't think he averages 63 for the rest of the season, but he looks to be taking on a bigger role with Hughes out of the team. All the Storm boys probably will get a rest, but Munster's the only one that I would expect not to get a rest unless they can't move up or down in the ladder. If it's the last week and they're stuck in second, then I'm sure they'll all get a rest, but he'd be the last one that I would expect to get a rest just because he missed a couple of games after Origin when his dad passed away. I think he took a week off and then played and then took another week off for the funeral or something like that. So he's already had a little bit of a rest, and obviously it's not the best circumstances, but it was recent enough where they're probably not looking at him. They're probably looking at Harry Grant, Katoa, Pappy before him for a rest. So I wouldn't be too concerned for that as a Munster owner, but I would expect them to be locked into second in the final round. So their team list could be anything in that round. So yeah, not too concerned, but it's always something you've got to think about with the Storm boys. Eli Katoa, really good. Tackle count was solid. 4 tackle breaks. One offload in this one. Couple of errors, and the meters gained were good. So he was really solid. Again, I think he should have got the turnover, but I don't know. I don't think that's going to come anymore. But a 58 is really good. He had a down couple of weeks, but apart from that, he's probably had like a 5 out of 7 really good scores. And yeah, he's just been awesome, especially since coming into my team. I'm really stoked to be owning him. There was a bit of a thought that he would be a little bit worse without Jerome Hughes in the team, and I think that's a fair enough expectation, but he I think he got a 55 last week or something like that. 57 and then a 58. So, yeah, really good, especially to get that score without a try is really a really good sign from him. Harry Grant with a 57. So, yeah, all these guys just super fantasy relevant. He was really, really good. It looked off the offset. You could tell it was going to be a good game from him. I think he got up to 39-ish at halftime. No, maybe like 35. But he looked really good, just running the ball so much. I'm surprised he only got 2 tackle breaks. He was just in everything. Line break, try assist. 57 is good. You'd probably expect a little bit more in that sort of game, but the tackle count was lower just on the back of the nature of the game, I guess, with the Broncos injuries. But yeah, really good score from him. He's been good. Again, you're just concerned that he'll miss a game, but yeah, just awesome stuff from him. Stefano with a 51 in 51 minutes. So he's been really good the last couple of weeks. I don't think is super fantasy relevant just because we're trading out Herbie Farnworth this week. So we have all the capital in the world, I guess. Unless you're making a couple of trades and some luxury trades, then maybe you'd think about him. But yeah, other than that, you can probably get the best option on the board for 150k cheaper than Herbie. So I didn't have much interest myself, but good score from him. Pappy with a 49, so it's good to see him get through another couple of games healthy after that injury again. And that's about it from that side of things. Jonah Pezic came on, but obviously not fantasy relevant. He might be next year if he moves clubs, which they're talking about doing. But yeah, at this stage, we'll have to wait and see. Over to the Broncos side, and Payne Haas with 81 in 68 minutes. So yeah, really good stuff, especially as a captainer. The minutes were awesome, just because of the injuries. He probably would have done better without the halves getting injured, to be honest, because he was on 50 at halftime and he did play 40 minutes, but they just could not find him after the 21st minute when those boys went off, because Carrigan was like the main ball player to get him the ball. And yeah, 150 metres isn't amazing. So he honestly probably would have done better with the halves in, but 68 minutes is awesome. And 81 is so fun. It was just such a fun one. Like he got that little, not a line break, but it was off the broken play. Got a tackle break, a couple of tackle breaks into an offload. And then a couple of minutes later, he had the double offload in one play. So just super fun one to watch as an owner, as a captain, sorry. And yeah, 81's really good. I'll take that every day of the week. Carrigan, same verse. He played 80 off the back of those injuries. You'd probably expect a little bit more from him, like more than 55 in those minutes. But yeah, absolutely no complaints. They were pretty gassed towards the end, as you'd expect, when they were down to a 2-forward bench, and the bench was pretty weak in general. So yeah, good stuff there. He was on 39 at halftime, but then he lost a turnover tackle in the second half. And just, yeah, got a few missed tackles late and stuff like that. So even if he played 70 minutes, he probably would have beat that score again just because he was so gassed towards the end. But no concerns again. Ben Hunt with a 41 after moving to halves. There would be a little bit of interest there because he's been so good in the halves in his time for the Dragons and stuff like that. I think he averaged about 50 in fantasy. But we'll see what they line up like. What's he even worth these days? I can't imagine it's too much, maybe like 400k. Reece Walsh did take a lot of the kicking, probably more than Hunt. Did he? Where is he? Yeah, he kicked for more than Hunt in the end. So that's something you've got to think about. Ben Hunt was the dominant kicker at the Dragons. I don't know where they line up next week. Obviously, Hunt will be in the halves. Is Walsh going to be number 6 and then Staggs fullback? I don't know. I think they've got someone called Black. Someone Black. I was looking at Twitter last night and they were talking about it. I'm not sure. I don't know the reserve grade guys, but we'll see what they line up as. I think Hunt will be an appealing option, potentially. Like, what did he do last year? Yeah, 51 last year. But look at the kick meter, it's like 500. So I don't think he's going to be getting that this year. But yeah, maybe it's a nice pot option. But we'll see who's lining up in the halves with him. If it's Walsh, I probably don't love it as much. But if they do blood a rookie, then absolutely. Even though Walsh will still get like 200 kick meters at the back. And yeah, I do actually like Walsh's chances from now on, because he'll be quite a dominant kicker for the rest of the regular season. He'll have to like put his hand in more plays and stuff like that. I mean, if he can learn how to pass the ball backwards, that would be awesome for his fantasy scores. But I mean, that's probably one for another day. But yeah, I do actually like his prospects, and maybe I push to get him in instead of Latrell because I do need a winger fullback, but we'll see. The Broncos are going to be significantly worse for the next month or so, so maybe that hampers him, but we do see from time to time where an injured player goes out and then someone else steps up, and it's just injured player theory where they don't actually do as badly as you might expect. So we'll see what happens there, but I am intrigued by Ben Hunt and Reece Walsh, but Walshy a bit more so, I'd say. That's about it from that side of things. Obviously, Adam Reynolds making his price a little bit cheaper for next year, and Ezra Mann too. But yeah, nothing too crazy. Just a really fun fantasy game. Who have we got tonight? The Knights Panthers. So hoping Cleary doesn't pump out a 60 plus, but fully expecting him to probably go close to matching Haas anyway. And then the Raiders, Manly boys. So yeah, I don't actually have too much interest in the games tonight in terms of my fantasy guys. I think I've only got Tarpanay and Cleary, so I'll be fading a few guys, but good luck to you guys this weekend. Let us know how you started, and we'll see you tomorrow.